So there was this car called the Buick Riviera. Man, what a ride. It came out back in 1963 and ran all the way till 1999, except for 1 year, 1994, when they just didn't make it for some reason. It was made by Buick, which is part of General Motors, and it wasn't just any car, it was their first big shot at the whole personal luxury car thing. And honestly, they nailed it. When it first dropped, car reviewers and enthusiasts were super impressed. The design was brand new, built on this fresh GM platform that was made just for the Riviera. At the time, it had a front engine with rear-wheel drive, which gave it that classic driving feel. But later on, starting in '79, they switched it to front-wheel drive. One of the cool things about the Riviera is how much it changed over the years. It didn't just stick to one look or size. Every few years, it would come out looking totally different, sometimes sleek and elegant, other times bold and futuristic. Like in the early '70s, they had this boat-tail design that really stood out. Across all the versions, they ended up making over 1.1 million of these cars, which is pretty wild. Even after they stopped making it, the name didn't just disappear. Buick brought it back as a concept car not once, but twice. Once in 2007 and again in 2013, just to show off some futuristic designs and remind people how iconic the Riviera really was. This is the first-generation Buick Riviera. Launched in late 1962 as a '63 model, and it was a game-changer. Buick went all out with a totally unique design. That classy Coke bottle shape made it stand out instantly. It wasn't just good-looking, it had real muscle, too, with a powerful V8 under the hood and smooth performance. Inside, it was all about luxury. Bucket seats, real wood trim, and features that felt ahead of their time. In 1965, they introduced the Grand Sport version, more power, hidden headlights, and a tougher look. Only around 112,000 were made from 1963 to 1965, which made it feel exclusive. Even top designers around the world called it one of the most beautiful American cars ever made. This first-gen Riviera didn't just look cool, it made a lasting mark. Buick's second-generation Riviera, introduced in 1966, was bigger, wider, and sleeker, with a new design featuring hidden headlights that flipped behind the grille. It maintained rear-wheel drive while rivals like the Oldsmobile Toronado and Cadillac Eldorado adopted front-wheel drive. The interior was redesigned for 6 passengers, with options for bench seats or buckets and a full-length console. In 1967, the nailhead engine was replaced with a more powerful 430 V8, and safety features like energy-absorbing steering columns were added. By 1968, the Riviera got a facelift with new bumpers, grills, and hidden wipers. The updates continued into 1969 with a new grille, tail lights, and a steering column ignition. The biggest change came in 1970, with a fresh look inspired by the Silver Arrow 2 concept, featuring quad headlights, a vertical bar grille, and a larger 455 V8 engine. Over 5 years, the second-gen Riviera became a personal luxury icon, with over 227,000 sold. It successfully combined style, performance, and comfort. The third generation of the Buick Riviera, 1971 to 1973, was a bold, dramatic shift from its predecessors, bringing in the iconic boat-tail styling. Designed by Jerry Hirschberg under Bill Mitchell, it featured a distinctive fastback rear window, inspired by the '63 Corvette Stingray. The body became larger and heavier, with more angular and controversial looks. The sweep spear styling from the '50s was revived, adding a sporty and elegant vibe. For engines, the 455 cubic inch V8 was standard. offering 315 horsepower or 330 horsepower with the Grand Sport GS package. The performance remained strong, with the GS hitting 0 to 60 miles per hour in 8.1 seconds. The introduction of max track traction control was a significant technological advancement. Sales dropped in 1971 to 33,810, reflecting mixed reception to the bold design. In 1972, the grille was updated, and bumpers became larger to meet safety standards. But power output remained similar. The taillight trim and ventilation system were also restyled. By 1973, the boat tail design was softened with a shorter rear deck and revised tail lights. The front bumper became thicker, and the engine's power was slightly tweaked. Despite these updates, sales were sluggish, with only 34,080 units sold. Despite the decrease in popularity, the third-generation Riviera remains a memorable and stylish piece of Buick history. The fourth-generation Buick Riviera, 1974 to 1976, shifted away from the bold boat-tail design, adopting a more traditional colonnade roofline with wide B-pillars and fixed quarter windows. The grille remained similar but was slightly modified. Engine power dropped with the 455 V8, now offering 230 horsepower for the standard model and 245 horsepower for the Stage 1. Sales slumped to 20,129 units in 1974 due to the new design not resonating well. In 1975, the Riviera's front end was redesigned with quad headlights and a vertical bar grille, while engine output further dropped to 205 horsepower. Sales fell to 17,306 units. By 1976, minor updates were made, including a new grille, and the sporty Grand Sport package was replaced by the SR package. Despite these changes, sales improved slightly to 20,082 units, but the fourth-gen Riviera struggled to match its earlier success. The fifth-generation Buick Riviera, 1977 to 1978, was downsized, moving to the GM-B platform and sharing features with the Buick LeSabre Coupe. It had a unique vertical front fascia and reduced dimensions, with a shorter wheelbase and overall length, cutting weight by about 660 pounds. The powerful 455 V8 was replaced by a 350 V8, producing 150 horsepower, or a 403 V8, offering 185 horsepower, with California models getting a 170 horsepower engine. Sales increased slightly in 1977, 26,138 units. The sixth-generation Buick Riviera, 1979 to 1985, introduced front-wheel drive, marking a big change in its design. Built on the same platform as the Cadillac Eldorado and Oldsmobile Toronado, it came as a two-door coupe, or convertible. It offered a range of engines, including a turbocharged V6 and Oldsmobile V8 options. The most powerful versions had up to 185 horsepower. The 1982 convertible was a rare and expensive model, while the 1983 Riviera XTX Special Edition had unique features like gold-plated badging and a two-tone paint job. The seventh-generation Buick Riviera, 1986 to 1993, featured a downsized design with a 108-inch wheelbase and a transverse front engine layout. Powered by a 3.8-liter V6 engine, it evolved from 140 horsepower in 1986 to 170 horsepower in 1993, offering improved fuel efficiency. The car introduced the Graphic Control Center with a 9-inch touchscreen for vehicle controls and the Dynaride suspension for enhanced comfort. The eighth-generation Buick Riviera, 1995 to 1999 marked the model's final chapter with a sleek redesign and powerful performance. Built on the G-body platform, it featured a 205 horsepower 3.8-liter V6, or an optional supercharged 3.8-liter V6, producing up to 240 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. By 1998, the supercharged engine became standard, and features like heated seats and OnStar 1 were added. Despite its luxury and 0 to 60 miles per hour time under 7 seconds,